Hey everybody, it's Michael Waddington. I am a criminal defense lawyer. I deal a lot with military cases and I've been representing service members for over 23 years. I do cases in all the branches around the world as well as in Florida, state, and federal court. So I'm doing this live. I just did another live on another article that I saw in the Air Force Times. This one I want to talk about because I want to get these ideas off my head because it's important for people out there. I've been doing a lot of videos on histrionic, borderline, narcissistic, and antisocial personality disorder. And those are called the cluster B personality disorders. And when I do these videos, I'm doing them for a purpose. You may be wondering, why would a lawyer, a criminal defense lawyer, be doing videos on cluster B personality disorders? What's the point? What's that have to do with me? And I want to talk about that, and I want to talk about a growing trend that I've been seeing. I got some hate the other day where a bunch of probably borderlines and narcissists and some other folks jumped in and started writing in my chats and directly commenting to me about how dare I talk about these personality disorders and how dare I address them because it's wrong and I shouldn't be talking about mental illness and mental disease. Listen, this is America, people. I can talk about whatever I want. So, and I started looking to see who is posting some of these things. And I realized, and I should have realized this long ago, there's a whole industry out there of people that claim to have the cluster B personality traits. You know, the cluster B personality traits from the DSM-5. Histrionic, sociopathic / antisocial, borderline, narcissistic, and they go and they make videos. And it's almost all women that I've seen making these videos. I've only seen one or two guys, and it's a bunch of women making videos and trying to be influencers. And their claim to fame is, oh, look at me, I have a personality disorder, and here's a day in my life. Like they're glorifying it. And they're talking about, oh, here's me, here's what it's like to have antisocial personality disorder. Watch me, look at me, follow me around. And then they're in the videos talking about how tough their life is or how great their life is. And they're trying to get fans. And the interesting thing is when you start digging in to the comments on all these influencers that claim to have all these mental health problems, there are tens of thousands of their groupies. And this is why I do the videos on cluster B personality disorder. This is for men and women who love men, like a mother, a wife, a girlfriend, a boyfriend, a child. Men often are targeted by women with personality disorders, and they're involved in situations, and then these women lash out. So the beginning of this video, I talked about why do I always talk about personality disorders? I talk about them because that is a bulk of the people that I have to deal with in my line of work. I deal with them on cross-examination. I deal with them. Some of them are actually the lawyers I have to deal with, but in this video, I'm talking about the ones that are the people making the allegations. And so I think that men have to understand what we're dealing with out there. And so when I said that people were attacking me for talking about this from a man's perspective, from a guy whose perspective, a person who's been accused, falsely accused of a crime, in a domestic relationship where the woman has a personality disorder. Very few videos talk about that and give advice or even discuss what the topic is for men. Because remember, in modern media, men are bad, men are toxic, men are rapists, although only a tiny, tiny percentage of men are doing these crimes. The media and some of these movements like to paint all men with a very broad brush and make every guy sound bad. Like every guy sound like he's out raping people every day and every guy is a bad dude, which is not the truth. And I think it's wrong. If we did the same thing to people of other genders and other sexes and races, that would be a bad thing to do, overgeneralizing. So what I wanted to talk about specifically in this video is I want y'all to take a look at, if you're interested in these personality disorders, the amount of people on YouTube and on TikTok and on Instagram that are like heroes in their own mind because they have a personality disorder. And so I watched one the other day of this lady. She's like, oh, I went to Harvard. I have borderline personality disorder. Like, I'm such a great person. I'm so wonderful. I start all these companies. I do all this great stuff. Here, look at me, look at me. And she's following, she's following everything with the camera, showing how she makes lunch. She's showing her dog, her boyfriend. And all of these women are coming out of the woodwork saying, oh my God, you're such a hero. You're so great. I can't believe you're such a strong woman with borderline personality disorder that you're telling everyone about it, blah, 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 blah. So now, whether they want to tell their friends and the media and the world about their disorder, that's fine. But having a disorder that is basically all the cluster Bs make everyone else life around you miserable. You know, if you're a narcissistic person or antisocial, you are generally very difficult to deal with. You make people's lives very miserable. And the cluster Bs are up there in terms of being involved with false allegations of domestic violence, sexual assault, the parental alienation that goes on in a lot of divorces where the women don't let their children see the dad, or the women badmouth the dad, or the women attack the dad, or just trying to ruin the kids, are often people with personality disorders. So I don't talk about personality disorders because it's just a fun thing for me to talk about. I talk about it because I think it's something that's super important in my cases when I'm advising men and family members that are going through this. And I'm also talking to a lot of people that are law enforcement, you know, that are being accused, military members, and just everyday normal people that have no background of criminal behavior, that have a clean record, that are just good all American people that find themselves in a situation where they're dealing with someone that they thought they liked and was cool and that loved them. In reality, the person has a bunch of very, very negative personality traits. So again, I encourage you all to watch our videos on the 4 different personality disorders and keep an open mind, because I do those videos from the perspective of a guy being falsely accused and what to look out for with people that tend to make false allegations. But at the same time, you can't let your guard down. So many men get into these situations because they're lonely, because men are very trusting. A lot of times men, what do they want? They want someone who is respectful. They want someone to be a companion. And this might be a surprise to some people out there, but most guys I know, they want to have a stable relationship with a companion that they trust, that respects them, that doesn't harass and yell and berate them all the time, that loves them for who they are, and is willing to work with them and hang out with them and be a cool partner. That's what men want. What most men that I know don't want is what you see on Hollywood and TV. They don't want some lady that's absolutely fake, that's some greedy person that's only into looks and selfies and Botox and all that stuff to a point where it becomes an obsession, that's into like super duper Gucci belts and purses. Most guys don't want that. They want someone that's cool to hang out with, enjoy time with, and treat them with respect. And I find that most guys do treat women with kindness and respect when they meet a partner that's like that. But if you're messing with someone that has these traits of the cluster Bs, which are instability, like they're up and down, all of them are. They tend to lie. They tend to be they tend to plot things out and try to weasel their way into the situation. And almost all the cluster B personality traits play the victim. And who likes victims? Well, a lot of heroes like to help people that are victims. And a lot of my clients are people that are that want to be heroes, that they were raised wanting to be a hero, firefighter, military, law enforcement, or something where you're out there helping people. Men who want to help people tend to be targeted by the cluster B personality disorder, women with cluster B personality disorder. They don't even realize what's happening until they're in too deep. So if you're the type of guy that is the hero, and I fall into that category too. I mean, I've spent my time in the military as enlisted as an officer, and I'm always trying to volunteer to help people out. And even as a lawyer, yeah, I get paid to do it, but I'm helping people out. I enjoy helping people. And I have to be very careful for people to come around me that try to play the victim and, oh, woe is me, because I often tend to give them the benefit of the doubt. But the more you do that, the more likely you're going to get stuck into a situation where you're being taken advantage of and you're being screwed over. And you don't often realize that until it's too late. So check out our videos on our main YouTube channel about histrionic, narcissistic, borderline, and antisocial personality disorder. And by the way, antisocial personality disorder is sociopathic personality disorder. It's pretty dangerous. And if you look at the criteria that we talk about in the video, and these criteria all come out of the DSM-5. That's the book that doctors use. You probably know people or have people in your circle that are always problematic and that you didn't know probably have a personality disorder. I'm not diagnosing anyone, but at the same time, you probably should just read through at a minimum the 4 cluster Bs. What are the personality traits of a cluster B for those 4 different categories, and keep in the back of your head. So the next time you're at work, if let's say you're a staff sergeant or master sergeant, you're at work and some new recruit comes in fresh out of basic training and they're telling you that, oh my God, all these men have abused me in the past. My boyfriend's an abuser. I come from this bad background, and they're overly flirtatious and sexual and basically trying to seduce you. They might be a histrionic personality disorder person or someone who has those traits. And just because you don't have all the traits or you don't have the traits to be diagnosed with that does not mean that you're not dangerous. And I'll give you an example. For antisocial sociopathic people, that's a personality disorder. They often tend to commit crimes, and it doesn't have to be a high-level crime. It could be low-level stealing, lying, things like that, just things that could be a crime. And they also tend to have no empathy, and they also tend to lie. So that's 3 criteria there. They tend to break the rules, violate laws. It could be something even running stoplights because they get a kick out of it, cheating on their taxes. They tend to lie. That's a part of it, whereas they have a tendency and a pattern of lying. And the last one is they have no empathy. Just those 3 alone make a very dangerous person if you have someone like that in your life. And someone like that in a second would burn their husband, even their own children, to save themselves, to get revenge, or just for the pure pleasure of it. So check those videos out on our channel. If you have any comments or want any other videos or content, just hit me up. You can email at msw@ucmjdefense.com, msw@ucmjdefense.com. If you want me to talk about a specific topic that relates to the law, the intersection of psychology and the law, false allegations, or any of the areas that I deal with, as you can see on my website, just let me know and I'll be happy to do research on that or even bring on a guest if you're interested. So until next time, take care. I'm Michael Waddington, and be safe.